Have you ever noticed something strange about life? The people who constantly try to prove themselves often remain unnoticed, while the people who quietly work on themselves somehow earn respect without asking for it. Think about that for a moment. Why does this happen? Why do some people spend years chasing attention, approval, compliments, and validation, yet never feel satisfied, while others remain calm, focused, and silent, allowing their success to speak louder than any words ever could? The answer lies in one powerful truth. The moment you stop living for other people's opinions is the moment you begin living for yourself. Many people wake up every morning with an invisible audience inside their minds. Before choosing their clothes, they wonder what others will think. Before posting a picture online, they wonder how many people will like it. Before making an important decision, they worry about whether friends, relatives, or strangers will approve. Slowly, without realizing it, they stop making choices based on their own dreams and begin making choices based on someone else's expectations. It happens so quietly that most people never notice. They believe they are living freely, but in reality they have handed over control of their happiness to people who are too busy living their own lives. Imagine a young professional who joins a company with enormous dreams. During the first few months, he works hard, arrives early, stays late, and hopes someone will notice his effort. Every completed project becomes another opportunity to receive praise. Every meeting becomes another chance to impress his manager. Every compliment gives him confidence, but every criticism destroys it. One day his manager appreciates his work and he feels unstoppable. The next week his manager is busy and barely speaks to him, and suddenly he begins doubting himself. Nothing about his skills has changed. Only the amount of approval has changed. That is the danger of depending on external validation. When your confidence belongs to someone else, your peace disappears the moment their attention does. This doesn't happen only at work. It happens in families, friendships, schools, relationships, and even while learning English. Many people never speak because they fear being judged. They remain silent in conversations not because they have nothing to say, but because they imagine everyone is waiting to criticize them. They replay every mistake in their minds. They compare themselves with fluent speakers. They tell themselves they are not good enough. Months pass, sometimes years, and the fear grows stronger simply because they keep feeding it. The truth is that most people are not thinking about you nearly as much as you imagine. Everyone is carrying invisible struggles. Everyone is trying to solve personal problems. Everyone worries about their own future. While you spend hours wondering what someone thought about your words, that person may have forgotten the conversation within minutes. Your greatest prison is often built by your own imagination. There comes a point in life when every successful person learns a difficult lesson. Not everyone will understand your journey. Some people will support you. Some will ignore you. Some will doubt you. Others may even laugh at your dreams. If you wait until everyone believes in you before taking action, you may spend your entire life standing still. Success has never required universal approval. It has only required consistent action. Think about a seed buried beneath the ground. No one applauds the seed while it is growing roots. No one gathers to celebrate its invisible progress. For weeks it appears as though nothing is happening. Yet beneath the surface, something extraordinary is taking place. The roots grow deeper, stronger, and wider. Only after this hidden work is complete does the tree begin to rise above the ground. People admire the tree, but they never saw the silent struggle that made its growth possible. Your life is no different. The most valuable work you will ever do is often invisible. Reading one more page when nobody is watching. Practicing English for another 20 minutes after everyone else has stopped. Saving money instead of showing off expensive purchases. Exercising when nobody is taking pictures. Learning new skills while others waste hours comparing themselves on social media. These quiet moments may seem insignificant today, but together they shape the future you dream about. Unfortunately, modern life constantly encourages the opposite. We are surrounded by a culture that rewards appearances more quickly than progress. People announce goals before they begin. They celebrate plans before results. They seek attention before achievement. For a brief moment, this feels satisfying because approval creates a temporary emotional reward. But temporary rewards often replace meaningful progress. Talking about success is easier than building it. Looking successful is easier than becoming successful. Real confidence behaves differently. A confident person doesn't need to announce every step because they trust the process. They understand that results take time. They are willing to let silence protect their focus. While others are busy explaining what they intend to accomplish, they are already working toward it. Imagine two friends starting the same journey. One tells everyone about every new idea. Every conversation becomes another opportunity to explain future plans. Every social media post announces another ambitious goal. The other friend says very little. Instead of talking, they wake up early. Instead of seeking compliments, they build discipline. Instead of arguing with critics, they improve their skills. Months later, the difference becomes impossible to ignore. One person has many conversations about success. The other has actual success. This is why silence is powerful. Silence is not weakness. Silence is concentration. Silence protects your energy from unnecessary arguments, unnecessary comparisons, and unnecessary expectations. Every time you stop trying to convince someone that your dream matters, you gain more time to make that dream real. There will always be people who misunderstand your choices. Some may question why you spend weekends studying instead of partying. Others may wonder why you refuse to waste money simply to impress strangers. Some may even accuse you of changing because you no longer participate in habits that once held you back. Let them think whatever they choose. Your responsibility is not to control their opinions. Your responsibility is to protect your future. One of the greatest habits you can develop is learning to separate your identity from other people's reactions. If someone praises you, appreciate it without becoming dependent on it. If someone criticizes you, learn from it. If it is useful, then continue moving forward. Neither applause nor criticism should decide your direction. Your purpose should. There is incredible freedom in realizing that you don't have to explain every decision. You don't need permission to improve your life. You don't need approval to begin learning a new skill. You don't need everyone to understand why you wake up earlier, work harder, read more, or spend less time chasing distractions. Some journeys are meant to be walked quietly. Perhaps today you feel overlooked. Perhaps you believe your efforts don't matter because nobody notices them. Remember this. The world often celebrates results long after the work has already been completed. Don't confuse silence with failure. Many of life's greatest transformations happen long before anyone else can see them. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. Picture the version of yourself that stayed focused instead of distracted, disciplined instead of discouraged, patient instead of desperate for approval. That future version doesn't spend time proving anything to anyone. They simply continue improving because they understand that real success speaks in actions, not arguments. Whenever you feel tempted to compare yourself with someone else's journey, remind yourself that comparison steals both gratitude and momentum. Someone will always be richer, faster, smarter, or more experienced. But there is only one person whose progress truly determines your future, the person you were yesterday. If today's version of you is slightly wiser, slightly stronger, slightly kinder, or slightly more disciplined than yesterday's version, then you are already moving in the right direction. Life becomes much lighter when you stop carrying the impossible burden of pleasing everyone. Not everyone will agree with you, and that's perfectly acceptable. Not everyone will support your dreams, and that's perfectly acceptable too. What matters is that you remain loyal to your own values and continue taking the next small step. Great achievements are rarely created through dramatic moments. They are built through ordinary days repeated with extraordinary consistency. So focus on yourself. Protect your peace. Invest your time where it creates growth instead of temporary attention. Let your mornings be filled with purpose instead of comparison. Let your evenings end with gratitude instead of regret. Continue learning even when nobody applauds. Continue improving even when nobody notices. Continue believing even when nobody understands. One day the people who question your silence will notice your results. The people who doubted your discipline will wonder how you became so confident. The people who ignored your effort will suddenly recognize your success. By then, you won't need to prove anything because your actions will have already answered every question. Remember this whenever life feels noisy. The loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. The person who quietly keeps showing up, quietly keeps learning, quietly keeps growing, and quietly keeps moving forward often becomes the one everyone admires in the end. Let your habits become your voice. Let your discipline become your introduction. Let your character become your reputation. And above all, let your success speak so loudly that your silence becomes unforgettable. There is something extraordinary about people who stop trying to impress the world. They walk differently. They speak differently. They carry a quiet confidence that doesn't come from expensive clothes, luxury cars, or thousands of followers. It comes from knowing exactly who they are. They no longer wake up wondering whether someone approves of their choices because they understand one simple truth. Approval is temporary, but self-respect can last a lifetime. Think about how much energy people waste trying to look successful instead of becoming successful. Someone buys things they cannot afford simply to impress people they barely know. Someone pretends to be happy online while secretly struggling every night. Another person constantly talks about future plans, hoping others will admire their ambition before any work has actually been done. For a moment these actions create excitement, but the feeling quickly disappears because attention never satisfies an empty heart. Every compliment creates the need for another compliment. Every achievement shown to the world creates pressure to show something even bigger next time. It becomes an endless cycle where peace is always just out of reach. Now imagine another person living a completely different life. This person wakes up before sunrise not because anyone is watching, but because they made a promise to themselves. They spend an hour reading while others are still asleep. They improve one skill every day without announcing it to anyone. They save money while others spend beyond their means just to maintain an image. They practice English every evening even when they feel tired, because they know consistency matters more than motivation. Nobody applauds these small decisions. Nobody posts about them. Nobody celebrates them. Yet month after month those invisible habits quietly build an extraordinary future. This is one of the greatest secrets successful people understand. The world sees the results but it rarely sees the routine. People admire confidence without witnessing the years of self-doubt that came before it. They admire wealth without seeing the sacrifices that built it. They admire fluency in English without hearing the countless mistakes made during practice. They admire discipline without recognizing the thousands of moments when someone chose growth over comfort. Comfort is attractive because it asks nothing from us. It tells us to sleep a little longer, to postpone our goals until tomorrow, to avoid difficult conversations, and to stay exactly where we are. Growth whispers a different message. It tells us to keep going even when progress is invisible. It asks us to remain patient while everyone else seems to move ahead. It reminds us that the strongest version of ourselves is waiting on the other side of today's effort. Many people never discover this because they become addicted to comparison. They open social media and immediately begin measuring their lives against carefully edited moments from strangers. They see someone traveling, someone buying a new house, someone celebrating a promotion, someone speaking fluent English, and they immediately believe they are falling behind. What they don't see are the failures, disappointments, sleepless nights, and years of consistent work hidden behind those few pictures. Comparison creates the illusion that everyone else is succeeding effortlessly while you alone are struggling. The truth is very different. Every person you admire has faced moments when they wanted to quit. Every successful entrepreneur has experienced rejection. Every confident speaker has once been afraid to speak. They tell you to be realistic because they stopped believing in possibilities years ago. They ask why you're working so hard because they settled for comfort. They question your ambitions because they forgot what ambition feels like. Listening to them too often can slowly replace your confidence with hesitation. This is why silence is powerful. Silence protects your vision before it becomes strong enough to survive criticism. A young tree is protected by a fence until its roots become deep enough to withstand strong winds. Your dreams deserve the same protection. Not every goal needs to be announced. Not every plan needs to be explained. Sometimes the smartest decision is to remain quiet, work consistently, and allow your achievements to introduce themselves when the time is right. Imagine spending the next 12 months without arguing with anyone about your future. Instead of explaining why you're studying, you simply study. Instead of telling everyone you're going to improve your English, you quietly practice every day. Instead of promising that you'll become successful, you wake up each morning and do the work. At first, nothing appears different. Life seems ordinary. But little by little your confidence begins changing. You notice that conversations become easier. You solve problems faster. You make decisions with greater certainty. People begin asking what changed. They assume something extraordinary happened overnight, never realizing they are witnessing the result of hundreds of ordinary days combined. Real confidence never needs to shout. Think about the tallest mountains in the world. They do not announce their height every morning. They simply stand there, unmoved by storms, admired by everyone who sees them. Your character should become like that mountain. Stable, calm, strong. Not because life is easy, but because your foundation is built on discipline instead of approval. There will always be people who misunderstand your silence. Some may think you've become distant. Others may believe you're unfriendly. A few may even assume you've lost your ambition because you no longer spend time talking about it. Let them believe whatever they choose. You cannot control another person's interpretation, but you can control your response. Every minute spent defending yourself is a minute taken away from building the future you truly want. One day you'll discover something beautiful. The less you chase approval, the more peaceful your life becomes. You stop feeling anxious before posting online. You stop worrying about whether everyone agrees with your decisions. You stop trying to win arguments that never mattered in the first place. Instead, you begin asking better questions. Did I become wiser today? Did I learn something new? Did I keep the promises I made to myself? These questions create progress because they focus on what you can actually control. Imagine two clocks hanging on the same wall. One is perfectly accurate. The other runs 5 minutes behind. They both make noise every second, but only one tells the correct time. Life is similar. Being loud doesn't make someone right. Speaking often doesn't make someone wise. True value comes from accuracy, consistency, and reliability, not from volume. Become the person whose actions are trustworthy even when words are few. Every day gives you a choice. You can spend your energy trying to convince people of your value, or you can spend that same energy increasing your value. One path creates temporary attention. The other creates lasting respect. The difference may seem small today, but over the course of years it changes everything. When you begin focusing on yourself, something unexpected happens. You become more patient with others because you are no longer competing with them. You celebrate another person's success because you understand it doesn't reduce your own opportunities. You stop feeling threatened by talented people because their achievements inspire you instead of discouraging you. Your world becomes bigger because your confidence comes from within rather than from comparison. There will still be difficult days. There will be mornings when motivation disappears. There will be evenings when you wonder whether your effort is making any difference. During those moments, remember why you started. You are not building a life that depends on applause. You are building a life that depends on principles. Principles remain strong even when emotions change. Discipline continues even when motivation fades. Character keeps moving forward even when nobody is watching. Years from now, people may describe your journey as lucky. They will admire the success but overlook the sacrifice. They will notice the confidence but forget the countless moments of uncertainty. They will celebrate the destination while remaining unaware of every difficult step that brought you there. Accept this with gratitude rather than frustration. Not everyone needs to understand your story. Your responsibility was never to make people witness your struggle. Your responsibility was simply to keep moving forward until your dreams became reality. So continue choosing growth over attention. Continue choosing discipline over distraction. Continue choosing peace over unnecessary arguments. Continue choosing silence whenever speaking serves no purpose. Every quiet hour spent improving yourself is becoming another brick in the foundation of an extraordinary future. One day those bricks will become something impossible to ignore, and when that day arrives, you won't need to explain who you are because your life itself will become the explanation.